But when I felt trapped, that's when doors would open. They said God makes a way, that's how I know I'm chosen. You can throw stones and try to judge me, but God loves me, God loves me. You can chastise and try to treat me ugly, but God loves me, God loves me. You can't be insolent and act like you're above me, but God loves me.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Usyk now the number one pound for pound fighter in the world? And I'm going to turn it over to Conspira G, the man who predicted that Usyk didn't even belong. Now, is he your number one pound for pound fighter?
Yes. Easy. And it's, to me, he outclassed a 20-pound behemoth, like a dude that's 20 pounds heavier than him. It made it look easy in my eyes, like for real. Like it was just 100% skill. It wasn't power. It was all skill and technique. So to me, now he went from undisputed cruiserweight champion to now unified champion in the heavyweight division. I have to give him that credit, man. And I understand a lot of people don't like to give heavyweights the pound for pound or put heavyweights in a pound for pound list because it wasn't designed for heavyweights. But he has to have that, at least that exception, if that's what you believe in, right? Like he came in, this is his third fight in heavyweight too, his third fight. And literally he outclassed the man of the division, made him look basic, almost knocked him out in the 12th. Like he showed mercy, fam. Like a cruiserweight showed mercy to the heavyweight champion and took his belts. That to me, man, he's pound for pound number one in my book.
All right, Dollar Bill.
Not yet. Not yet. Great. That's a great performance last night. Look, Oleksandr Usyk, I've been high on Oleksandr Usyk. I think he's a tremendous fighter, but I just don't want to, and he deserves to be on the pound for pound number two. You know why? And I believe if he defends these titles, right, then yeah, we can start having that discussion, right? But let's not overlook the current pound for pound champion. Not one fight, but constantly proving, constantly going up, constantly proving that he is number one. That's Canelo Alvarez. Of course, this was a great victory. I'm not going to go. I understand where G is coming from. When he says this about AJ and he talks about how Usyk destroyed AJ and all this, I don't see it like that. I don't see it like it was destroyed and it was mercy that was given by Usyk. I don't see it like that. I see it as a little bit of bias because G's a Wilder figure.
Well,
the reason why I said that.
Nothing to do with it.
You can respond after Trill goes. Let him speak, and then you can respond after.
The reason why I say this is because when I view this fight and I view the 12th round, I seen this something about not as far as being hurt. I seen something as far as being a tank. Something wrong with his tank, with AJ's tank. You mentioned the 12th round when he was against the ropes. I seen something totally different because I watched the fight twice. When Usyk let go of that 6-punch combination, he only landed once. AJ ducked and weaved out of those other punches. AJ was tired, and when he was weaving away from, that's why he stuck his tongue out, to let him know you missed those other shots. AJ was exhausted. This was a mentally exhausting fight. This was not a beat you up, battered you down fight. And when Usyk stopped, that's because he was afraid of something coming back from AJ. Like that big right hand that AJ was happening to go, because Usyk was hurt in that fight as well. The problem with that fight is what you got to understand, this was a great fight. AJ just started late. He had the wrong game plan against a guy who had a great game plan, who used angles, who was willing to take chances. This is not an AJ bashing moment. This is one of these moments where you just say that you want to see what happens in the next fight. right? That's where we can really judge what really happened. Because I said this. I said that Usyk will win on points, if anything, right? But then AJ will probably have the know-how because he loves this sport so much that he will collect this data and he will come back and be better. This fight just showed a certain level of skill. These are both two highly skilled gentlemen. These are two athletic guys. These are two gold medalists, two Olympians. And I don't want to take nothing away from none of these guys, especially Usyk. But I say I will know better about calling him the number one pound for pound fighter after the rematch. I just don't want to just bash AJ like he was outclassed by some bum. No, he was outclassed. Not even outclassed. It was just a good performance and a good strategy by Usyk. And it was mentally draining on an AJ. That's what I feel. But to answer your question, is Usyk the number one pound for pound fighter in the world? Not right now. I say he's number two. If he can go in here in the rematch, which he's excited for the rematch. That's what he was getting when they said it was a rematch clause. He was jumping up and down because he was like, shoot, if I win this time, I get another payday. So, you know, so if he goes in here and he proves this again, then yeah, you would have to give it to him, you know. You would have to at least, you know, there'll be a discussion, but you can't forget about the guy who's been showing you day in and day out, who's been fighting not just one good fight after this. No, this guy been moving up to different weight classes, coming down in weight classes, and talk about Canelo Alvarez going up and down all around. Whoever you put in front of him, he's been facing. When everybody was calling Usyk Ukrainian soup, this guy was handling his business. So all of a sudden, just because he got this big win over Usyk, over AJ, I can't just herald him as the number one pound for pound when this guy's been over here handling his business consecutively, fight after fight after fight. So we shall see. That's my answer to that.
All right, G, you can respond.
I do respect your point of view on this. I differ slightly, but like the last point that you brought up, right? When you was like, you know, and this can go towards me too, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't feel Usyk had a chance, right? The world, a lot of commentators, other fighters, a lot of people were like, there's no way AJ is gonna lose. Usyk shocked the world. And I know pound for pound list is subjective, but don't you feel like that also plays a factor into him going into number one? Or, you know, you said number two, so I can't get mad at that either. But, you know, like he literally shocked the world. Like the world stopped yesterday because of that victory. He amazed everyone. He proved all his naysayers wrong. You get what I'm saying? And he did it with not, I can understand maybe like Fury or Wilder, right? Mm-hmm. Who were like, you know, they only have one belt. But AJ was like the Thanos of the heavyweight division, where he was like collecting belts. You get what I'm saying? And Usyk beat him. And I'm not saying like maybe how I explained it made it sound kind of disrespectful to AJ. But I agree with you. It was fatigue. AJ was fatigued, right? He was like exhausted, right? At the end. But nonetheless, this was Usyk's doing. You get what I'm saying? So that goes to credit Usyk, who was again 20 pounds lighter than AJ. You know, like so and what's his name? Anthony Joshua, the whole fight, I was hoping like maybe it was 2 rounds, like the 6th and the 8th. I was like, all right, AJ's like bullying this dude, like showing like I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna hit you with body shots. I'm gonna do this and that. But that was only 2 rounds out of a 12th round fight. You know what I mean? So to me, it's kind of like, yo, what Usyk did was highly impressive. That's why I'm like, you know, but I see what you're saying, but I still say, nah, that's pound for pound for me, man. That's number one.
Well, you know, to your credit, GG, I'm not gonna call you. All right, to people who like what they like. Right? You got people who like who they like, and then you got casuals, right?
Damn, he gonna respect me. Damn.
No. I said, G, you like what you like.
Yeah.
I didn't call you a casual. I said you got people who like who they like, what they like, and then you got casuals, right? And then you got the other people. This was no surprise. Like to the people who really watch and love technical boxes, this wasn't a surprise. Like everybody said, if this goes to the decision, Usyk because of his gifts. Even Caden alluded to it. If he knew, like when he said before, if it was a knockout, right? We always say AJ. Mm-hmm. But if we said the distance, if this goes the distance, we all said who was going to win. So it's not that much of a shocker. You know what I'm saying? Because the people that really know this sport
go with distance. A lot of people didn't think it was going to go with distance. We thought AJ was going to knock him out.
But the skill set of Usyk, like to me, it wasn't a surprise because of the skill set of Usyk. Like he was so skilled, and we seen what he did to other people. He's mentally driven. This is not. He doesn't just do this to AJ.
He did it to Bellew also.
Yeah. This is what he does.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not that with Usyk. It's this with Usyk. Every fight, even when he knocks a guy out, it's this. So to me, it wasn't an upset. You know what an upset is, right? Like if Yildirim would have knocked out Canelo. Not some guy who was undisputed cruiserweight, who was a gold medalist. That's why I was like, yo, I was so mad when I said, yo, if AJ, do not discredit AJ if he wins. He is by far going to be the best heavyweight in this. If he beat Usyk, I did not want nobody to take because of Usyk was that good. And I'm sorry for my Bill Clinton thing that I'm doing right here. I did not.
I would say this. Even if AJ, let's say in the later round, knocked out Usyk, I still would have came here and apologized to Usyk, and I would have gave AJ full credit because what he was doing in that ring, what Usyk was doing in that ring to frustrate AJ, the angles, everything. Man, listen, I was like, you know what? I was wrong. And I could be humble. I could eat that slice of humble pie. I might have had half the pie last night. You know what I mean? So definitely I give credit to AJ and Usyk, man, for those performances.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Ned the TBE. Is Usyk the number one pound for pound fighter in the world?
It's like, no, AJ still.
Nah. Usyk is number 2. I still keep Canelo right there, and we know what Canelo's had. He's destined for stardom, and I'm not even gonna get into that right now. It's all about Usyk. Usyk, you did the world proud. You did Ukraine proud. You made a fool of G. You made a fool of me, and you know I'm the TBE. But that's it. But
the bars, TBE with the bars.
You know. You know, Usyk. I think you showed AJ good. Like last night, he like I love AJ. AJ's a master. Like he loves to study the sport. And Usyk, cruiserweight who came heavyweight, and you showed that it's not about heavyweight boxing. It's not about punching. It's about different looks. It's about throwing punches. It's about letting your hands go. It's about that speed. And heavyweight, it's more about reserving the power, keeping that tank, so you don't get exhausted when you let it off the brouhaha punches. You know, when you just go at them. But yeah, you know. Usyk, you're here, you belong, and you know that's why I keep you at number 2 right now. But you know you got your destiny, you're here. I'm not even gonna speak into existence yet. Just focus on you, Usyk. Congratulations. And you're number 2 in this in the boxing world. And you putting on right now. And I just look, I could have sworn you was like 8K, and you're at 1.4 million on IG now. So you're here, baby.
Yeah, I view the pound for pound list as more of a what have you done for me lately type of list. So not as like a career defining list. Otherwise, like Manny Pacquiao would never leave when he was there. Floyd Mayweather would never leave. But it's like looking at your most recent opponents and assessing your most recent opponents. And when I do that, I do think Canelo has some good opponents on his list. Like if you take Callum Smith, he was ranked number 1 by everyone. Yildirim was just easy pick, but they made him mandatory. I don't know who did WBC. I think it was so he
IBF made
yeah. And then he fought Billy Joe Saunders, who's another really good fighter. And now he's taking on Caleb Plant. When you look at Alexander Usyk, Usyk fought. He moved up from cruiserweight, and I think this is what's going to be that's going to be mentioned. He moved up from undisputed in cruiserweight. Then he fought Chaz Witherspoon. He didn't look spectacular in that fight, but he fought Derek Chisora, and I thought he proved enough in the Derek Chisora fight. In his second fight at heavyweight, in his third fight at heavyweight, he beat the unified heavyweight champion, who was viewed as the number one guy by many, if not most, people. And so I do think that the pound for pound list, being the "what have you done for me lately" type of list, is going to rate Usyk number one because he beat Anthony Joshua, the number one guy at heavyweight, viewed by many people, and even myself. I had Anthony Joshua at number one at heavyweight. So I think the pound for pound list is going to make Usyk number one based on that aspect of it. However, like I said, what I foresee is once Canelo Alvarez beats Caleb Plant, well, I should say if, right? Because there's always a possibility. But if Canelo Alvarez beats Caleb Plant, then he's going to regain the number one slot because he's going to become undisputed. And then he's going to have Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, all on his resume. And so for me, I think the pound for pound list is a "what have you done for me lately" again. It's ever changing. If you look at career, Canelo Alvarez got it by a landslide. If you look at who's the bigger superstar, Canelo Alvarez got it by a landslide. But when you look at it in terms of what have you done for me lately, yesterday Usyk just beat arguably the number one heavyweight in the sport. So that's going to be fresh on people's minds. November 6th, Canelo Alvarez becomes the first four-belt champion at 168, the first in the history of Mexico. Like, that's going to ring bells. So I think you both have good arguments. I just feel like for this list, that, what was it? Number one was just Crawford, and then number one was just Vasily Lomachenko. Number one was just, I think they're looking to rotate who's number one at the top. So I think this gives them the chance to put Usyk at number one. Not that he doesn't deserve it. I don't think 2 is bad. 1 and 2.
Can I pose a question though?
Yeah.
And knock on wood, I don't want to put this out in the universe, but if undisputed heavyweight champion, would you now put him on your number one pound for pound? All right, word.
Of course. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
There's still a lot to be. For me, you can't go wrong with Canelo or Usyk at number one. Yeah. But you better have one of those guys number one. Exactly. In my opinion, it's not even close between anyone else who you can put at number one. So for me, in my opinion, it used to be Canelo by a landslide. And Usyk's name is in the discussion. If you put Usyk number one, I'm not mad. You got Canelo 2, I'm not mad. You put Canelo number 1 and you got Usyk number 2, I'm not mad. If you have any name other than Usyk or Canelo at number 1, then your list probably has hidden agendas. Yeah. Exactly.
That's a crooked figure. You know what I'm saying? Please let us know in the comment section. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know who we are. We the Boxing Bros. Yo, quick shout out to Callum Smith to show you how good Canelo was. Did you see that knockout from Callum Smith last night? And he was ranked number 1. Impressive. Shout out to Callum Smith. We the Boxing Bros.
He can fight, and people take credit away from Canelo because how he makes these guys look, but these are good fighters.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? We the Boxing Bros.
When things seem bleak, walk with me. To navigate these streets, walk with me.